A little while ago, I bought a Daredevil comic because I mistook it for Zdarskys' run, which I'd read online and really enjoyed. However, it wasn't until I left the store that I realized I made the biggest mistake anyone could have made in the history of ever. I bought an Ahmed comic. I've read my fair share of Daredevil stories through the years, but I've never checked out Ahmed's run. And all I would hear about it was how bad and uninspired it was. And so maybe my mistake and loss of 25 Canadian dollars was a sign to read Daredevil's worst run. The events of Zdarskys' run are kind of simple. Matt accidentally kills someone, and after going to a jail for a bit, he comes out to see Elektra taking the mantle of Daredevil. Then Devil's Reign happened, which means no more Fisk maybe. Anyway, Daredevil and Elektra, they become the king and queen of the fist. Matt makes super crazy sacrifice, kind of, and is now a priest. Concept I really enjoyed and hoped would continue. But then Salat and Ahmed started writing.
I hate Adam Sandler.
And so, here we are. Salat and Ahmed's Daredevil Volume Number 1. I wouldn't say the first 5 issues of the run are bad necessarily, but they're pretty bad, yeah. In the first 2 issues, the entire priest angle is underutilized and quite frankly overshadowed by not only Matt becoming Daredevil again immediately, but also the priest stuff is relegated to Matt's home for orphans or whatever, which could entirely be done without him being a priest. So really, nothing changed in that decision. Didn't even think about this, but the stuff about forgetting his previous life, for the most part, was completely abandoned. As out of nowhere, yeah, he remembers Elektra, he remembers Ben, and apparently it's the same with everyone else later. The Sins aren't interesting antagonists, and the fights and situations aren't very interesting at all. Elektra is taken by Sloth, and Matt throws one punch before banishing it. With the rest of the Sins, he doesn't throw hands at all, although he threw a stick at She-Hulk, hence the cover. Speaking of She-Hulk, am I the only person who think it's kind of weird that they bring in She-Hulk only to make her eat, making eating sounds and burp? Yeah, I kind of get it, she's gluttony and all, but what was the point of bringing in She-Hulk if you're just gonna do that? Also, the Sins aspect can be ignored entirely. Could have had Elektra try and remind Matt of his old life. Ben Urich could have been convinced by Matt to stop the slander, and She-Hulk should have talked to Mac about the fist, his sacrifice, and so on. And yet, nope. Instead of anything cool, especially with the whole amnesia plotline, we have to make the Sins the antagonists that do nothing, outside of be defeated immediately without a fight and have bad designs. Except Gluttony, he looks alright. These first 5 issues were just boring. You can really tell there's no aspiration towards the title, hence why they do nothing with it. Instead of an interesting story with themes like the previous run, we just got a nothing burger and a sin smoothie. Hopefully the next 5 are better. I feel that these next 5 are more or less cameo slop. I don't mind when characters show up to progress the plot, but every time characters have showed up, they're either to serve a pointless role or are one of the Sins. Example, Wolverine is Lust for some reason, but I like this one a bit more because they actually fought. The Sins I liked the least this volume was Greed as Kingpin. I thought he had a good send-off in Devil's Reign, and it should have stayed that way even for a bit longer. Because if Fisk isn't being used well, what's the point of bringing him back? Also, before the Wolverine fight, Doctor Strange took Matt on a trip through memory lane, giving him the white suit because apparently a cross isn't enough. Elektra comes back mostly, but they do nothing outside of fighting the gang members, which are still boring even with Bullseye.
Is it Mark Zuckerberg?
They are so boring, I forgot I didn't even write it into the script before this. Also, apparently this kid finds out that Matt is Daredevil and is all mad at him now because he's the kid of the guy Daredevil killed, which I don't remember him having a kid, but okay. And of course, I somehow didn't mention this at all, but the art's not very good through most of this run, especially on the covers. This whole run has been boring, blatant, and uninspired, with the only changes to the story being resolved immediately. And I hope that the next run is better, because they're hesitant about the new status quo with Matt as a professor and stuff. So, let's hope Volume 3 brings me joy in the slightest. Holy shit, this is the most boring yet. It's so uninteresting that I couldn't keep my full attention throughout. So here's what I took note of. They beat Fisk, and now he wants forgiveness, but Matt's all like, nope. Bullseye kidnapped Mr. Kid, who found out Matt's Daredevil, only for, I believe, Wrath to do something, causing the kid to run home and have Father 2 attacked. Matt did go looking for the kid, though, somehow growing a beard in one night. All issues post-Fisk feel like we're barely progressing, that every panel is just filler for the page. Also, the art somehow got worse. This looks bad. It's not like me being picky or anything, and I know I can't do better, but this is just not good. Anyway, Foggy is possessed. These issues were very, very boring, and I feel bad for readers who picked up the latest issue on release with hopes that it would get better, progress the story even. But I found that nothing has happened in so long, that everything that could have been interesting has been cut short as soon as it came. Had to take a break after this because it sucked that much so far. Hopefully, it'll pick up in the second to last volume. This one sucks. It really sucks. At the start, nothing happened outside of checking in briefly on each storyline that are all bad.
I don't care.
Oh, the She-Hulk stuff goes nowhere. A Bullseye clone is dead now, and the kid is inside of Wrath, which means the lessons will be much harder to defeat. In the next issue, Matt apologizes to the kids, kinda. Is a lawyer again, which, way to go, Ahmed, you somehow made the pre-stuff even more useless. Now Foggy is against Matt in court, which, would have been cool if it was actually Foggy instead of the Sin of Pride, and we got to see, like, actual conflict between the two, which, that'd actually just be interesting. Matt frees Foggy of Pride, and it's not even done in a cool way, whoa. After a bit of dilly-dallying, Wrath gives Matt the ultimatum of either Bullseye or Foggy dying, oh no! We all knew it was gonna be Bullseye, because he's most definitely a clone, and to see Matt and Foggy feel bad about this is ridiculous, because we've already seen dead clones of Bullseye. And what I hated the most about this was how it's Wrath giving him the ultimatum, instead of an antagonist close to Matt. Kid is safe, leaves everyone at foster home forever, but I doubt it, because Ahmed seems to love it so much, despite hardly using it. Anyway, this is the last issue in this volume, and it gets worse somehow. It starts with Matt's new love interest, who comes out of nowhere, which I'd love to see someone defend with some Matt's coping bullshit. And of course, because this is Marvel, it's armored suit time, baby! Nothing happens this whole issue. Matt's looking for missing kid. And what's this? Matt got the arm fungus. I didn't enjoy this at all. Volume 4 is the worst yet. The run gets worse as it goes on, and rightfully so, because it just becomes a nothing burger past... Know what? It's been a nothing burger. I'm finally on the last volume, the last 5 issues, and I'm praying that I can somehow pick up here, because so far, this has been the worst Daredevil run. 21, fuck you! Matt loses the infection somehow before tracking down the source. That's it. That's the entire issue. I know I've shat on the sins a lot through this video, but somehow this is worse. Fungi Man is actually a Stormwind. Whoa! Also, I don't know how I didn't mention this, but the writing is terrible. Like, what the fuck are these? Females are nothing but what the fuck? After capturing Matt, Nyla, his girlfriend who showed up out of nowhere, shows up out of nowhere, but is infected. Yuck. Matt then defeats Fungi Man with industrial-grade fungicide, which... where did he get this? Issue done, it was bad. Matt and Elektra fight Taskmaster, because some serial murder or whatever, it's not interesting in the slightest, because in this run, the mottos are nothing ever happens, and fuck me, it's Daredevil, a running joke I haven't mentioned all video because it's not funny.
Hello? That's not funny!
Matt seemingly breaks up with Nyla, which sure, it's not like she's important. Actually, I'm pretty sure she showed up before, so maybe out of nowhere isn't a good description of her. She is still practically useless though. Second to last issue, they fight the Wrecker, whoa! Nothing happened, cause it's always nothing. And I will continue, and it will continue to be nothing. I have no hope for the final issue. It didn't stick the landing. because the landing it got wasn't deserved. They fight Fisk, who's trying to become God? He tases the Daredevils before leaving. This is bad for Fisk, okay? This is bad for the entire run. There is no ending to anything here. Rather just Matt and Elektra being like, we're Daredevils, together. Which, okay, sure, but you guys spent most of the run separated. So, how was Saladin Ahmed's run on Daredevil? Was it overhated or a hidden gem? And I'm kidding, it was fucking awful. Obviously, it's not the worst run of anything ever, but for Daredevil specifically, yes, it really was really bad, and I hope that for the sake of humanity, that in March, Stephanie and Phillips will redeem this god-awful story. Maybe put a conclusion to the sin plot and make it feel like it was actually important. Subscribe because I want to do videos I like, so probably more Daredevil stuff. Bye.